60 years ago, 70 years ago in our country? Are we seeing that same kind of thing going on, where we have these depressions, we have these recessions that get sometimes pretty serious? Is it a result of the competition, though? Is that really what that's a result of? Is it really the unemployment? Is that being caused from overproduction? That might be debatable. Okay. Another thing, capitalism, he says, produces a destructive alienation of labor. We've already read about that in his book a little while ago, so you understand what that means now. Because it's something that he spells out for us, and we can understand from reading what he's trying to say, that capitalism, he is saying, produces that. You're forced to do a job you don't really like doing. I think that we can beg to differ in our society and say, hey, a lot of people get to choose what they want to do and they like what they're doing. Not all do. But again, I go back to if something's being produced, somebody's got to be the one doing that job. If there is a manufacturing of something, somebody's got to be the guy that get his hands dirty. All right, nothing's going to get done if that blue-collar worker is not getting his hands dirty. I mean, right? Nothing's going to get done. Somebody's got to do it. So, and maybe he would just be just as happy building Nintendos as he would, working for the electric company. So, but these are the arguments that he makes. Are they very strong? Some of them have some points, but I think we can see that when you really break it down and look at it, that some of these are not really strong enough arguments to argue against our whole system as it is. Anybody have any comments about it or questions about it? Okay. Ultimately, if Marx had his way, here's what he says you need to do. He says there's a point at which the only way that you're going to fix that oppressive problem is to revolt. Okay. Communist Manifesto thing going on here. The only way you're going to fix it is to take over as the masses, as the workers, is to take it by force. You're going to have to step up and say, look, rich guys, we're tired of this, and you need to share the goods. Okay? So this is what he says needs to happen. That's the only way it's going to be fixed. The capitalist model has to be overtaken by the communist movement. Okay? That's what he says. Okay, Marx, he believed that the following are accomplished by a revolution of the workers against the capitalists. Okay, number one, the capitalists would no longer own the raw materials, land, factories, machines, etc. These materials and production means would all be jointly owned by all. Remember that no state thing, right? No state. The no government.
Not a state.
The not a state. Okay, the not a state is going to exist. All right. Okay. Instead of production for profit, there would be production for need. Now I want you to underline that word in your notes. Need.
Can you copy the first line?
Who? You need to go back. You need to go back. I'll let y'all know. I don't know. Take where you're up to. Take your notes here. Instead of production for profit, there would be production for need. So instead of manufacturing things to make a profit, society would manufacture things that people quote, need. Again, does that mean no Xbox for you? Yeah, probably. You know, and I hate to use this example, but I just think that it's a fitting one at times. How many we got one prior service person here? Anybody, family, military families or anything? Have any familiarity with it? Tell you, unless you've been in it, you just have to, Humvees are a great example. Things produced by Lowe's Bidder. I think they're just a great, I'm sorry, but for the amount of miles when I was in the military, and I drove a lot of Humvees, all right? I drove a lot of Humvees. I was a driver for most of my time in the service. And I have to say, for the amount of time that I saw, amount of miles put on those vehicles, and we weren't real hard on them, because you can't go out mudding. Most people are not going to get away with that, all right? And you go out mudding in the Humvee, okay? You're not going to do that in the military. You're not real hard on these vehicles, and yes, they're off-road a lot, but, so is, the good old boy's pickup that goes hunting. But, seeing that kind of mileage out of a Humvee, no. Why? Are they made that well? They are, it kind of goes back to the, things are built by Lowe's Bidder and all that. If we use that as an example of, think about what kind of, if the state, the non-state was in charge of all production, okay, and the goods and services that are done, what kind of quality vehicles do you think they'd really come up with? It's going to be the necessity, right? If they come up with one at all, if everybody has a car at all, what kind of quality do you think that's going to be, really? Do you think it's going to be a high-end quality like, some of the manufacturers that I will not name, or do you think it's going to be a really, really low-end quality like, stuff that breaks down all the time? I won't name any of those either. You can come up with your own imagination on that. I'm not selling or trying to persuade anyone to buy any particular items or not buy any